Some sad news to report. Retired Bishop Macram Max Gassis of Sudan died on June 4th in Pennsylvania at the age of 84. Bishop Gassis was a frequent guest of this program and a tireless champion of the persecuted people of his beloved El Obeid diocese in Sudan. Bishop Gassis was born in Khartoum in 1938. He was ordained a priest in Rome in 1964, a member of the Comboni Missionaries of the Heart of Jesus. He became bishop of the El Obeid diocese in 1988. Just 2 years after he became bishop, Gassis was exiled from his home country after facing threats to his life. Despite being exiled, he fearlessly continued working on behalf of his people, risking his life to raise funds and ministered to them on numerous missions to and from Sudan. Bishop Macram retired in 2013, but continued his humanitarian work on behalf of his flock in Sudan. A humble and gentle man, he was no less a fierce defender of his people, and the injustices committed against them were his great heartbreak. His funeral will be held on June 13th at St. Teresa's Catholic Church in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. Here are a few moments of Bishop Macram Gassis from his appearances on the world over, and it'll give you some insight into his mission, his heart for his people. Watch. My next guest is the Bishop of the El Obeid Diocese in the Nuba Mountains of Sudan. He lives partly in exile, and he spends his time raising awareness about the persecuted people in his home diocese. Indiscriminate bombing by the Khartoum regime in the north continued to exact an horrific human toll, and it has disrupted the lives of his flock. Here to share the latest from the region is Nobel Peace Prize nominee Bishop Macram Gassis.
Thank you.
Delighted to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
Let's start with the third year of fighting, which is underway. And your people have been subjected to this by the Sudan regime in the north, Khartoum. Why are they attacking so voraciously this group of animist and Christian people in the Nuba Mountains? What is the reason for this assault?
The reason is to subjugate this part of Sudan, which is, I call it a cushion between Sudan and the Republic of South Sudan. This is an African ethnic group that they want to keep their identity, they want to keep their values, and Khartoum wants them to be under the North so that they can follow the policies of the North, to Arabize them, that's the system, and to Islamize them. And of course, the people said no. So it is racial above all, but within this racial situation, they are also avid to take the oil and the minerals from the Nuba Mountains.
Now, you have long referred to this as a cultural genocide. Some have described it in the media as a conflict between the Islamic North and the Christian and animist South. Which is it? What is it? And do you stand by that comment that this is a cultural genocide?
These people who say denies what I am stating, can they prove it to me? I mean, let's talk now logically. What proofs do they have to contradict what I have been saying? They don't have anything. They are talking off their hats because they think that they are experts on the issue of the Sudan, and maybe they have worked in the Sudan for 1 week or for 1 month, and they come here in the United States and say, we are expert on the situation of the Sudan, and they are not. They know nothing about the Sudan. So I'm asking them kindly not to give wrong interpretations through the media or otherwise, and let the people fight for their cause with those who are ready to help them to get what they want.
So you said it was racially motivated partially. Is
Yes.
it religiously motivated?
It is.
This attack?
It is. Of course it is. Because if they attack the churches, destroy our institutions, why? If it is a mere fight between Khartoum government and the so-called liberation movement who are fighting for their land, fighting for their identity, why are they attacking the church? Why the church is targeted?
I want to show people some images. There are foxholes being dug all over your diocese.
Yes.
Bombs are consistently falling, and I want to show you these images. This is, you can see the people standing next to these holes. Tell us what's happening and how they're coping with a constant bombardment at any time of the day.
You see, Raymond, the people are faced with three solutions. Either to have to run and to go across to southern Sudan and be refugees. Or
200,000 of them have already taken that path.
Yes. Or they have to stay within their father's land and find a solution to protect themselves, or just live the ordinary life in their villages and say whatever happens, happens. Now, these people became also familiarized on how to defend their lives, not only by living in caves, but they can live their normal life, but they can dig these foxholes, and whenever they hear that Antonov bomber coming, they just go in. We did it also for our schools now. We did it for our hospitals.
Their heads sticking out of these foxholes.
This is our Institute for Education, for the formation of teachers and for catechists. Now, the sister in charge, she is from Australia. Whenever she hears the plane, she has a whistle. She would whistle, and all the students must go inside this.
And what happens? The MiG fighter jets start moving in. How do they know that it's a lethal attack and not just a plane flying overhead?
Well, people by now, they have formed a kind of
early awareness system.
An awareness. You know, they know the sound that is flying over. It's not a peaceful plane. So now the Antonov is being used, will be used to drop bombs. But in addition to that, Khartoum now is using jet planes, you know, to go and bomb the people.
Now, these are some graphic images we're going to share with you here. I hesitated and wrestled with showing them to you, but I think it's important, given the gravity of what's happening on the ground in Sudan, and to help you fully understand the consequences of this ongoing bombardment. We're talking about defenseless people in villages who live in huts. They have their small farms, and the few meager institutions that have been allowed to stand, like the churches, your hospital, a few schools. Other than that, this place is really looking like something out of science fiction, and the brutality being delivered upon your people. And you can see in these images, I mean, limbs being blown off, dead people lying next to trees, babies piled up. This must break your heart when you go home and see this.
It not only breaks my heart, but it increases my anger. I always say, if Christ got so angry at the merchants in the temple and he kicked them out, I don't see why I cannot get angry and defend my people who are the target of senseless bombing. Innocent people, children. Look at our children, burned by the bombs.
We're going to have to leave it there. Bishop Gassis, look, I'm promoting you, Archbishop. Bishop Gassis, thank you so much for being here. Bishop Macram Gassis, you will be missed. Rest in peace, my friend. God bless you.